Name is Fee,
My name's Abdul.
and we're at K Ridge Central.
It's 2 o'clock, and this is our final quiz results.
Okay, so for number one, in order to fit guideline 1.1, we can ensure that all non-text content is also available in text. For example, we can add text to pictures that can be spoken aloud, so that it's easier for people with reading disabilities to understand.
As for guideline 1.4, so this looks at the difficulties with coloring like pie charts and data visualization. So what you could do is use different line methods to represent this data instead of color, like zigzags or dotted lines.
For number two, we can explain the difference between contextual inquiry versus cooperative inquiry. So, contextual inquiry is a semi-structured interview method to obtain information about the context of use, where users are first asked a set of standard questions and then observed while they work in their own environment. And this method allows for more realistic data.
On the other hand, cooperative inquiry emphasizes that all active users are fully involved in decisions as a group and as co-users. So the main difference is that one type of inquiry method involves researching with people, and the other one involves researching on people.
For number three, we can explain the difference between feedback and a visible system status. So feedback is an indicator as to when a control has been used or is functioning. So for example, pressing an elevator button causes it to light up, giving feedback to the user that something is happening.
And visible system status is more a generic overview, and it involves the system always keeping users informed about what is going on through appropriate feedback with a reasonable time.
Okay, we can explain why there are political consequences in installing surveillance cameras. A consequence could be a loss in trust from employees and customers because they feel like they have to be surveillanced 24/7.
Yeah, and the other case with privacy concerns is misidentification of suspects or people, since all the cameras would be connected to the same database and it's tracking people's movement, which could be problematic.
Fitts law predicts it's an equation that predicts the time required to rapidly move to a target area, and it's a function of the ratio between the distance to the target and the width of the target.
So the equation itself is t is equal to a plus b log base 2 of, in parentheses, d divided by s plus 1. So all the terms, t represents time, a and b are just empirically derived constants, d is the distance, s is the width of the target, and also everything within the log base 2 expression can also be represented by the term ID, which is the index of difficulty.
For number six, we can give an example of how Apple as a company, pays attention to accessibility. So Apple pays attention to accessibility because in their settings menu, they have a whole section dedicated to accessibility where you can zoom your display or do text-to-speech.
And the other case comes with the Watch OS 3, which is just a watch for where if people who could see easily could just tell time, but it's kind of difficult for people who are visually impaired. So the implementation that Apple did was that they help people with visual impairments tell time through vibrations.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.